Hello, my name is Lady GP. I am making this video since some people have requested information about my Sorc tanking in my recent Gryphon Heart video. Please enjoy. I would like to preface this video by stating that I am a lazy tank. And what I mean by that is I tend to use the same combination of race, attributes, food, Mundus for all of my tanks. So looking at my character sheet, you can see I have 45k health. Nobody needs that much health. It is that high because of a lot of factors. My racial passive, I'm a Nord. My attributes, I have 64 attributes into health. My food, I am using Jewels of Misrule, which is increasing my health by 3,400. My enchants, I am using Tristat on all of my enchants, so that's giving more health. My CP, I'm running Boundless Vitality, which is giving me more health, as well as being a Sorc. If I look at my skills, if I look at this passive under the Daedric Summoning skill tree, Expert Summoner, it increases your max health by 8% while you have a Daedric summoning ability active on yourself, which for me, in this case, is my Bound Aegis. So there's a lot of factors contributing to the 45k health. So I just wanted to preface that, why it is so high. Now, if I had to take the Zamaja tank and execute, we would have problems. I doubt I would be able to get out of Baneful, and the healers would hate me. So I am lazy. I have not had to change my build to accommodate taking Zamaja, but if I had to, I would definitely change some things around. So keep that in mind while you watch this video, please. Looking at my character sheet, I am a Nord. I am Sorc tanking. I have 64 attributes into health. My max health is about 45,000. My max magicka is 17,000. My max stamina is 19,000. Without any class buffs, my magicka recovery is 1,500-ish. I personally don't like playing with anything less than 1,200 magical recovery. It just feels really bad. Without any buffs, I am at 26,000 spell resistance. I'm using Jewels of Misrule. I am Vampire Stage 1, and the Mundus that I'm using is the Astronaut. So let me go ahead and get buffed up with Major Resolve, Minor Resolve, and I am sitting at about 32,000 spell resistance, which is more than enough for Cloudrest. Let's take a look at CP. In the blue tree, I am using Ironclad, Duelist Rebuff, Bulwark, and Focused Mending. Focused Mending is a really strong CP to run in Cloudrest for tanks. It increases your single target healing when it's all the way maxed out by 10%. So for my bars, I have my Clan Fear, which is my burst heal, and then Vigor, which is my heal over time skill. So those are both getting buffed by that CP. Bulwark is giving me a lot of resistances. Since I'm using double Ice Staff, it's pretty helpful to have that CP. Duelist Rebuff and Ironclad are going to help against Zamaja's attacks. In the red tree, I'm using Boundless Vitality, Fortified, Celerity, and Rejuvenation. Rejuvenation is just all around recovery CP. Celerity is going to help me move around a lot faster. Fortified is also increasing my resistances. I definitely do not need Boundless Vitality. If I was going to swap it out for something, I would probably swap it out for Sustained by Suffering. I do want to point out, though, that with Boundless Vitality, it does buff your Clan Fear's heal. So right now, looking at the tooltip, it says it's about 16,000 of a burst heal. If I were to remove Boundless Vitality, save it, and look at the tooltip, you can see that it dropped to about 15,000. So Balanced Vitality is doing something, so you just kind of have to weigh for yourself. Would you rather have more health with a higher burst heal, or if you don't feel like you need it, you could run more recovery CP. So it's kind of just up to personal preference. For my sets, I'm using Nazare from a monster set, Pearlescent Ward on the body, and Saxiel's Champion on jewelry and weapons. Nazare is going to extend the Colossus or Archdruid, the major vuln that is getting put on either Zamaja or the minis. So that's the reason why I'm wearing that monster set, is just mainly just to extend that debuff since we only have one crow in the comp that we're using. Pearlescent Ward is just a constant 180 weapon and spell damage increase. We're not banking on anybody dying since this was a trifecta, but it's just a small little passive increase to weapon and spell damage. I'm using Saxiels to provide major force. I'm mostly using it with my Atro. You can see that I am double borrowing it with Barrier. The Barrier was just a safety net, and when we were progging this, Execute was always kind of spicy, and sometimes people would die, so I kind of just slotted it just as a safety net to use if it was looking like it was going to go bad. So you don't have to run Barrier, double bar Saxiel. You could one bar Saxiel and use Master's Perfected Ice Staff if you want. It's up to you. I am a big fan of doing 5-1-1 on my tank, which means I use 5 heavy pieces, 1 medium piece, and 1 light piece. I'm using a medium helmet and light shoulders. The reason why I'm doing that is, if you look under Undaunted, there is this passive Undaunted Metal, increase your max health, stam, and magicka by 2% per type of armor. So having one of every type of armor is just increasing my overall stats. You don't have to if you don't want to, or if you're not a Nord and you need more assistances, you could run more heavy armor pieces. It's up to you, but that's just my personal preference on how I have my weights for my armor. I like to run reinforced on my big pieces, like my head, my chest, my legs, and my feet. And then for my smaller pieces, like my hands and my waist and shoulders, I'll use divines. One little thing that I did want to point out that people may not know, if you do need more resistances for your smaller pieces, if you want to, and instead of running reinforced, which if you look at this, it's about 1421. For your smaller pieces, it's actually better to run Nirntone. You can see it's a slightly bit more, so just keep that in mind. For my jewelry, all of them are infused. I know a lot of people say that Harmony is really big right now. I am a portal tank. I am not getting any synergies down there, so I am not going to run in Harmony. I don't have any Harmony jewelry. I never get synergies as a tank, so if you're like in a really well-organized comp, maybe you're getting synergies, but I have never really gotten many synergies as a tank, so I just prefer to run infused with cost reduction enchants. On my rings, I'm running reduce mag costs. On my amulet, it is a try reduction enchant. That is probably one thing I would change. Like I said, I'm lazy, so this jewelry just gets tossed around from all my tanks. It probably is mostly used on my DK, which uses a bit more stam skills, like for casting stagger. So for the Sorc, I would probably run 3 mag cost reduction enchants over the 2 and then the tri-stat. So that's one change I would probably recommend. My front bar weapon is decisive. The reason why that is I am constantly vamp draining upstairs when I have nothing else to do. so that I can generate more ult or casting more atros. My back bar is infused with a Crusher enchant. To be honest, that's probably not getting procced on anything, so you could make that defending or another decisive. It doesn't really matter. I'm not on my back bar that often, to be honest. Looking at my skills, I have the Clan Fear, which is my burst heal. The tooltip says it'll heal me for about 16,000. Ball of Lightning is my mobility skill when I'm downstairs in Portal. It gets me from point A to point B extremely quickly. Just a word of caution, you do not want to cast this skill when Zamaja is casting Nocturnal's Faber at you. The tooltips makes it sound like it would let you avoid the heavy attack, but it will murder you if you are not able to block the heavy attack and you're just trying to cast Ball of Lightning. It just won't work. Exhilarating Drain. This is a vampire skill, so you will need to have the vampire skill tree unlocked, and I recommend leveling it up all the way to level 4 to receive the maximum benefits from it. When you cast it, you generate 5 ultimate for every 3 seconds. It is a channeled skill, so if you are getting heavy attacked by Zamaja, you will need to break this skill, either by blocking or finishing the cast, but you cannot have this skill going with Nocturnal's Favor or you will just die. Frost Clench is my range taunt. Bound Aegis is definitely a flex skill. I would say it's a quality of life skill. Casting it gives me 40% more block mitigation. I only ever cast it when I'm downstairs and getting heavy attacked. You'll hardly notice that you take any damage from the heavy attack if you cast this skill. So like I said, it's not needed, but it is nice to have. I'm using Astronaut as my ultimate. Elisus, I am Elisussing the crystals when I'm downstairs in Portal, as well as the Maja and the minis and orbs when I'm upstairs. It puts major breach on everything, which is gives more penetration for the DPS. Balance is my source of major resolve. You could, if you prefer, to use one of the class skills, either Hurricane or Boundless Storm. I personally prefer Balance. I use this skill when before I go into Portal, and then when I'm taking the elevator, it gives me Magicka back, so that's mainly why I prefer it over the class skills. Resolving Vigor, this is under the Alliance War Assault. It is a heal over time, and it also is a source of minor resolve, giving me more resistances when I'm downstairs. Crushing Shock is under the Destruction Staff skill tree. It is a ranged interrupt. If you were not to run this, you would have to hug Zamaja a lot more to make sure that you get the manual bash. If you do not bash Zamaja's channel, she will just start dropping people from the ceiling, and when you're in Portal with all the other damage going on, you'll just die. And then because I'm a Sorc, I do have to double bar my Clan Fear, otherwise it'll just disappear when I swap bars. I have Reviving Barrier on my back bar, but it is definitely not needed. Like I said, it was a safety net. I did want to do commentary of my video to kind of explain my thought process, as well as anything I would have done differently. I did fast forward it to this point. You usually communicate with your other tank which monstrosity you're gonna grab, and then you stack it on the creeper. I Elisus them to debuff them so they die quicker. Here I'm getting attacked by Baneful Barb. This attack by the monstrosity, if he goes off, it drops you to really low health. It's like 20-25%, and it puts a debuff on you, and the only way to remove the debuff is to get healed fully all the way up to 100% health. So to avoid getting that, just dodge the attack. If you do get it, call it out to your healers so that they can turn and focus you. Here Zamaja is about to become targetable. I immediately start VM training, but I should have Elisus'd. I believe the Zamaja main tank has Elisus. as well, but I do cast it here. So I debuff, and just to back up a little bit, so transitioning over here to the new port, on start, the mini tank and the Nightblade healer casted their ults. So we had Major Vol going and Major Force. On port, it is my job to extend the Major Vol and the Major Force. I do that with my Nazare Monster Helm and the Saxiel's Champion, and the ult that I use is my Atro. The other Sorc casted theirs on start, so I am just extending the buff of the Major Berserk, assuming somebody cast my Synergy from the Atro. And at this point, my goal is to generate enough ult so that I can cast another Atro before I have to go into Portal. I can see that Sororia has spawned. The mini tank brings it into group. I'll go ahead and debuff it. And then we follow Samaja to the new tail. I can see that I am almost able to use my Nazare again. So I go ahead and I debuff both Samaja and Sororia since I know I'm going to be going into Portal soon. So here, the Major Vol's about to end as well as the Major Force. I believe the other tank uses their horn here. Yeah, they use their horn, so we have even more Major Force, and I'm able to extend the Major Vol a little bit before I go into Portal. So when you enter a portal, I recommend entering by looking in the direction that you came from. When you come up across the bridge, when you enter the trial, the Zamaja will always be looking at you right here, assuming you go into portal fast. And so when I come in, I communicate to the portal DPS that I've taunted Zamaja and that portal's safe. And so at this point, my goal is to debuff all the crystals. I know I'm gonna get the dot on me, so I cast Vigor, and I just start pivoting around, LA-sussing all the crystals. My Clan Fear is healing me, you can see a lot. I don't even really have to worry about the dot that much. There, I got the manual bash. So I've kind of LA-sussed everything, so at this point I'm just trying to generate ult. This right here that you just saw, is kind of a crappy combination that you will encounter that you just kind of have to learn how to maneuver around, of getting Nocturnal's favor while you're standing in the cone. I do recommend standing closer towards the middle at the beginning when you're LA-sussing all the crystals, so that the narrowest point of the cone is at the center, so I have a lot more room to move out of the cone versus if I'm all the way towards the end. So I block it. I've LA-sussed everything. I would recommend re-taunting Zamaja before you take the elevator back upstairs. If you don't refresh your taunt, there is a chance that your taunt could run out and Zamaja could target one of the portal DPS when you come back down. And if she targets them with Nocturnal's favor, they can't roll dodge it, and more than likely they don't have the mitigation to block it, and they'll just die. So just for safety reasons, just refresh your taunt before taking it up. When you do take the elevator up, I recommend just refreshing your major resolve, your minor resolve, as well as just kind of look around the room. At this point, there should be some orbs and shards that you can run. So at this point, I see that there's one orb up here to the right that's close to the shard that I'm going to run. So a streak that's super quick. Here I'm getting heavy attacked with Nocturnal's favor, so I'm going to cast Bound Aegis. It gives me more block mitigation. I am kind of constantly healing because I know I have the dot as well, so I'm spamming my Clan Fear, and I know I need a hot, so I'm going to switch to my back bar, and I'm going to cast Vigor really quick, and then just spam my Clan Fear. At this point, I've done my job mostly. I'm leaving the last shard to run until the absolute last second to give upstairs as long as possible. So I'm free to just vamp drain at this point. Vamp drain does have a kind of heal with it, so you can see my health sort of fluctuating. So here I redo my major and minor resolve, and then I go get ready to run the last orb. So I'm just waiting until the absolute last second and carry it in, and then I'm looking for the monstrosity. It's always going to be in the center, so you just have to find it and then take it to Zamaja or the mini. Communicate that portal is done, so that way if the mini tank has a mini in the middle, they could also grab the monstrosity before it gets a DPS. So the Major Vol's about to run out here, and the raid lead calls for my ultimate. So I cast that, and that extends the Major Force and the Major Vol. We've already got creepers spawning. I get rooted right here. When you get grabbed by a creeper, you just need to roll dodge. If you roll dodge quick enough, you do not get silenced. So I roll dodge, and I try to go for the Hoarfrost so that I can pick it up. Unfortunately, I also get crushing, so I kind of have to be creative with my new maneuvering here until I'm able to drop the Hoarfrost. So Gallonway is the last mini that we need to kill before we push Zamaja. We are not going for a gal skip, we're just killing all the minis. So at this point, your goal is to just keep generating ultimate and extending the Vol when Nazare's up, as well as picking up Hoarfrost so that DPS can stay in stack. To be honest, I run out of here because I did not trust people to get out of group. I guess my reaction time is just a bit quicker, but I did not trust people. Here I'm going to Zamaja, but the group stays here in mid. I can see that I'm about to get Hoarfrost. I roll dodge out of the cone, and I'm staying a little bit to the left so that I can drop Hoarfrost not on the group. I am kind of internally panicking here at the moment because I can see that I should be able to drop Hoarfrost, but I can't. So I swap bars, and then the synergy shows up. I will say the group has gotten extremely good at their flares. We all stop as a unit. At this point, we push Zamaja to execute, and so I'm trying to generate a bit more ult. The mini tank is going to drop his colo, and I'm going to come and extend it. I just got Voltaic right here. I would recommend getting Voltaic while on your back bar so that you can still vamp drain on your front bar. And so I am kiting crushing. It's better for you to kite crushing than the mini tank because our mini tank is an EC and PA. And PA, he needs to be in group to be able to proc that. So right here I can see on my body that I'm starting to catch fire, so I know I'm going to get flare. I can see that there's already someone in stack on the right side, so I'm just going to go to the left stack. So right here I am getting creepered. I am avoiding rolling out because I don't want to roll out with flare, so I just let myself get silenced here. So when you get silenced, you can't cast your skills until the debuff goes away. So here I am getting Voltaic on my front bar, which I shouldn't have done, but at this point it doesn't matter, the fight is over. So that's pretty much everything you need to do as a portal tank. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. Thank you.